if you follow sports in general, but basketball specifically, you know there's been a lot of stuff going on in the NBA world as far as the Knicks trade, Derrick Rose retirement, Griffin retiring only 2 seasons into the NBA. Before we get into this banger vid, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe because I've been putting in the work. I deserve it. All right, so starting off with this Knicks trade, Knicks in Minnesota, facilitated by the Charlotte Hornets. I want you guys to let me know right now who you think won this trade between the Knicks and Minnesota. And the trade details from this trade include Karl-Anthony Towns going to the Knicks for Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, and a first-round pick from Detroit headed to Minnesota. Now, we look at the teams and we put the Knicks and we put the Timberwolves, their starting five, their projected starting five of what they would be. I don't feel like the Knicks really got any better. Neither do I feel like the Timberwolves got any better. So looking at this projected lineup for the Memphis Grizzlies, for the Minnesota Timberwolves, we have Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, now Julius Randle, and Rudy Gobert. That's their starting five right now. And I can't even be mad at the Timberwolves for getting rid of Karl-Anthony Towns just because from their side, they're thinking about business. They're not thinking about productivity. They're thinking about business. As you know, Karl-Anthony Towns, $200 million plus coming up. This is going to put them in a luxury tax with Rudy Gobert's money, with Anthony Edwards' money. So they had to offload one of them contracts, and it just had to be Karl-Anthony Towns. And when you look at a guy like Naz Reid, he's up and coming. He's coming. His time is starting right now. He proved himself. He showed what he could be. And to Minnesota, thinking on their end, he's a cheaper version of Karl-Anthony Towns. So it makes sense on their end. Looking at the New York Knicks projected lineup, they have Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and now Karl-Anthony Towns. Can Cat be the big that New York needs? I say yes. A lot of people like to hate on Karl-Anthony Towns, because of his playoff appearances and him going shy in the playoffs. But I feel like in New York, with this amount of talent that he has around him, that this might be daily for New York. It boosts him to a top 3 team in the East for sure. Knicks, Boston, and Sixers are my top 3 teams in the East. It boosts him up there, but I don't know if this is enough to get past Boston. Now, we know Boston has a couple guys on their bench. When we look at New York's bench, they're kind of going cold with the bench. Miles McBride, Mitchell Robinson. I feel like some of these guys will be traded, especially Mitchell Robinson, because there's no really need for him. You have Karl-Anthony Towns. Maybe you trade Mitchell Robinson, get a role player that can be efficient for their team, maybe another guard, somebody to space the floor, somebody that has some type of shooting ability like a JJ Redick. Now, after looking at both of these teams' projected lineups, their depth chart, all that, Minnesota definitely has more depth than the New York Knicks. But all in all, I'm not going to say either team won this trade because I don't feel like it made them any better. I feel like they're still in the same position that they were. And for the Knicks' point of view, this is just going to help them get out the East, maybe make it to the NBA Finals. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, I think losing Karl-Anthony Towns hurts them more than adding Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo.
I think everybody know Cat, my brother. So that definitely hurt. But it's a business, so I just got to roll with it.
Carl, when you got here?
Who's Carl? Don't know who that is.
We know the Knicks have been fiending for an all-star caliber guy, a star player in general. But if we're going to go for that, let's go for a superstar player. There's no need in bringing Karl-Anthony Towns. If we're going to go for a star, let's go all out. Let's go get Kevin Durant to pair alongside Jalen Brunson. That's how I feel. So the saddest news of them all, man, is Derrick Rose has announced his retirement after 16 seasons in the NBA. He was last with the Memphis Grizzlies. He got waived and called it a career. Can't be mad at him because, he's had a lot of clutch moments in his career and a lot of, sad moments in his career as well. The youngest MVP to ever do it, man, D Rose. Now, when we look at his career, the question that we have is Derrick Rose a Hall of Fame player? After 16 seasons in the NBA, is he a Hall of Fame player? When we look at his career highlights, his awards, youngest MVP, three-time NBA All-Star, All-NBA first team, NBA Rookie of the Year, NBA All-Rookie first team, and he's had over 12,000 points in the NBA, averaging about 17.5 points per game. Rebounds around 2.3K, and assists almost around 4K. I looked up the worst rated NBA Hall of Famer. It's a guy named Bill Bradley. He played 10 seasons in the NBA with the New York Knicks. His only career accolade is winning 2 championships with the Knicks. When we take a look at his stats over his career, he averaged 12.5 points and 3.2 rebounds. His career field goal percentage was around 45%. Now, when we look at Derrick Rose's career, as I just told you, is that not enough to make it to the Hall of Fame? If a guy like Bill Bradley can be in the Hall of Fame, why can't Derrick Rose be in the Hall of Fame? His career goes over Bill Bradley's. He's played more seasons, averaged more points. He's an MVP winner. He's made an all-star team. So why isn't that enough to make it to the Hall of Fame if you have a guy like Bill Bradley in the Hall of Fame? Let me know. So just solely based off that, yes, Derrick Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. When we look at Bill Bradley, he was really just an average NBA player on a good New York team. So, hey, yes, Derrick Rose should still be in the NBA. Now, if Derrick Rose had won an NBA championship, to me, that would have solidified his Hall of Fame rating even more. But even if he's had a great career, yes, he should still be in the he should still be considered as a Hall of Fame candidate. Lastly, we're going to end this off with AJ Griffin, the former first-round pick from the Atlanta Hawks, number 16 overall in the draft. Only 21 years old, has retired from the NBA after a couple seasons. He played like 92 games, about 17 minutes per game, averaged around 7 points per game. He's decided to call it a career, retire, and the reason for that is because he wants to become a full-time minister, follow the word of Jesus Christ.
I'm super excited because I truly get to serve God, with my full yes. And I feel like letting go of basketball is allowing me to, go into full-time ministry and truly serving the Lord with all my heart, with all my time too as well. So I'm just excited to see where that leads me. Realization that I want to let go of basketball and follow God. And this really has to start off with, me giving my life to Christ in 2020. I truly accepted him back then. He found me. I know we say we find God, but he finds us. But yeah, it was in 2020. I gave my life to Christ. And it was the best decision of my life. It truly was. And I think my values started to change. My heart started to change. I think before, I think basketball is my everything. I think basketball is so-called my passion. I thought that was the reason why I was living. But when I came to God, he truly showed me that, we're all made, to glorify God. We're all made, with a purpose, a God-given purpose. But we must step into that, It's not what we do that makes us, but it's who we are, And when you come to Christ, your identity is in Christ.
And I'm happy for AJ Griffin because, playing in professional sports is every kid's dream. No matter what your career turned out to be, you want to play some type of professional sport. And, for AJ Griffin to make it to the NBA and call it quits after only playing 2 seasons says a lot. He said, you know what? I don't want to play. I'm retiring. I want to go follow God, follow his ministry, be a part of him. When we look at stuff like AJ Griffin, I'm proud of him because he's showing the younger generation that all these millions that can be made, all this money that can be made, all this stuff I have, all this fancy stuff I have, it's worthless if I don't know the Lord, if I don't have Jesus Christ in my life. All this that I have is all worthless. People fail to realize there's more to life than trying to live to impress others. Why live to impress others when we can live to impress the Lord? That's our goal.